Nick Weiss, and today we're going to talk a little bit about blues theory. And the first thing you might ask is, do you need to know theory to play the blues? And the answer is, you don't need to know theory to play any kind of music. Music has gotten along for thousands of years without theory, and will continue on as long as people walk the earth, and theory might change and styles might change, but theory is basically something that helps you predict what's going to happen in a song, learn what you've heard, be able to use what you've heard for your own musical ideas, and explore music more deeply. And frankly, it's helped me be able to learn a lot of different styles. I'm not just interested in just one style, blues or rock or pop or jazz or reggae or whatever. I play just about every genre, pop genre anyway, there is out there, and without my understanding of theory, would not be able to figure out songs as quickly as I have to do, because I might have to, learn 20, 30, 40 new tunes for a gig, and I've had to do that in as little as a couple days. So theory can absolutely help you understand those things a lot clearer. So as far as it pertains to the blues, there's not a ton you really have to learn. Let's start with the basics. Theory begins in any discussion with the understanding of what a key is. So if you have an understanding of what a key is already, maybe this will define it a little clearer. A key is just a group of notes that sounds good together. All right, so the key of G, classically speaking, would be the notes that would be found in a G major scale. And the same notes would generally be available to you in a blues in G. However, in G, we rarely actually use the entire major scale. We alter a couple notes, use maybe skip or leave a couple notes out of it, but theory generally centers around the concept of a major scale. If you don't know how to play a major scale, take a look online, figure out some fingerings for it, whatever instrument you're playing, and learn how to play a major scale. In this tune, in this video, I'll keep everything in the key of G to explain it, to keep it that way. So if you learn a G major scale, you should be able to follow along with everything I can play here. We're playing here. So in the key of G, every note can be assigned a scale degree, which is the same thing as giving every note a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now, why did I give that last note 1? Well, that's the octave. That's actually the same note as the note that I started on. That's another G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. If I continued on, there's another G. There's another G right there. As you continue onward and upward in scales, or downward, the scales are infinite depending on what instrument you're playing on. If we added a bass, I could play it even lower. Piano's lower, and other instruments higher, all the way up to a piccolo. The scale can go on infinitely until the human ear can't hear it anymore. So we are assigning every note in the scale a number, and for today you don't have to go beyond the first octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 again. There are 7 different pitches in a given major key. The important numbers in blues are the 1, the 4, and the 5. All right. So knowing where the first root is, the first note, where the 4th note is, and the 5th note of the scale are very important. In this key, it happens to be G, C, and D. Those will be the roots of the 1, 4, and 5 chord. All right. So a chord is a group of a minimum of 3 notes. And chords are derived by skipping every other note of a key. So the key of G, the 1 chord, is derived by starting at the first root, all right, and that is, the note happens to be G, skipping the next note in the key, which is A, and playing the 3rd note. Root, 3rd, and then we're going to play the 5th note. Root, third, fifth, G, B, D. Now, on a guitar, I can't play all three of those notes together because they're not in a nice arrangement, but I can move those notes elsewhere on the guitar. Those notes are also found here and here, G, B, D. If I play those three notes together, we get a nice G major chord. All right. If I then put other copies of those notes on the rest of my guitar, we get a big full G chord right here. Here's another version of a G chord. There are only three notes present in there, but there are multiple copies of those three notes. All right? There are only three separate pitches, G, B, and D, found here. So if you use all 10 of your fingers and you can get them on, 10 different G's, B's, and D's on a piano, you would just be playing a big old G major chord, nothing else. If you played, 15 G's, a B, and 7 D's, that would just be a big old G major chord. It doesn't matter how many copies of them you have or where they're found on the instrument, how high or low they are. You would be playing a G chord if you play those three notes together. If you're a bass player, you're generally not going to play those three notes at the same time, but you'll be playing, you will be frequenting those three notes and playing them. They're either called, in some cases, arpeggios or broken chords. So here's the broken chord. And here's the chord together. Arpeggios are often something like this. That was root, third, fifth, octave, which is the same thing as the root, just a copy of that. Okay, so, but that could make for a bass line right there. So that's how we build our one chord. We build the four chord the same exact way, except we start from the fourth note of the key. All right, and if I didn't explain this clearly before, the key and the major scale are basically the same thing. A major scale is just the notes of a key in order. So sorry if I didn't clarify that earlier. But the G major scale is the notes in the key of G. And so I'm going to start now from the fourth note. If you remember what we did before, we skipped every other note. So I'm going to go fourth, sixth, and eighth. In this case, eighth is the octave, also known as the first. 4, 6, 1. If I do it this way, 4, 6, 1, that would be called an inverted chord. I'm playing the same notes though. Fourth, sixth, octave. Fourth, sixth, 1. The notes are C, E, G in this case. If I combine those, we get a nice C chord. That would be called the 4 chord in the key of G. Why? Because its root is the fourth note in the key of G. There you go. That's music theory for you in a nutshell. And the 5 chord is found the exact same way. We start at the 5th note, we go to the 7th note, and then we go to the 9th note. Now, if we stop at the 8th, or the 1st, how do we go to the 9th? Well, in this case, I'm extending it. Like I said, the scale doesn't stop here. It continues on infinitely. So we can call this 5, 7, 9, or we can call it 5, 7, 2. Because 9 is just an octave of the second. 5, 7, 9, or 5, 7, 2. Doesn't matter what you call it, really. They really mean the exact same thing. And if you combine the 2, 5, and 7, or the 5, 7, and 2, you would still just get a D chord. That's all you would get. Doesn't matter what arrangement you put them in. Here's 2, 5, 7. That's just a lower version of a D chord. Here's a D chord. And so on. All right? So we've built now our 1 chord, our 4 chord, and our 5 chord, which happen to be G major, C major, and D major. So if I then put those together, you can make a simple blues using those 3 chords right there. We're going to go 1 chord first for 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord, 2, 3, 4. 4 chord. Back to 1. that's about the simplest blues you can come by. "Rock Me Baby" is a quite famous blues tune that follows essentially that progression. I'll put the progression down in the notes, and hopefully that is a good introduction on how to apply music theory to the blues. In my next video, I will go further into making the chords bigger. Things like, well, the chords are usually G7, C7, D7 or whatever. What does that mean? Well, I'll answer that in the next video. So thanks for watching. I'm Nick Weiss. Have a great day.